Job costing via departmental predetermined overhead rate. In this video, you will learn another method of job costing where the computation of manufacturing overhead applied will be based on the departmental overhead rate amount. The main difference between the plant-wide and departmental overhead rate is for plant-wide, you only use a single rate, but for departmental rate, you are actually using different rates for different departments based on the nature of the department. The usage of multiple predetermined overhead rates would be more complex but accurate as it reflects the differences in terms of how job consumes overhead for departments of different nature. For example, the molding department is relatively machine intensive, hence overhead costs are applied to a job based on machine hour. On the other hand, the assembly department is relatively labor intensive, hence overhead costs are applied to a job based on labor hours. As you can see from the slide, this is the basic steps to conduct job costing, and it is still the same with the previous one where you start with identifying total direct material cost, followed by total direct labor cost, then total manufacturing overhead applied. This time using the departmental overhead rate. The summation of all three costs will give you the total cost for the job. You can then compute the cost per unit. Here are the steps to compute the departmental overhead rate. Step 1. Identify the department budgeted total variable manufacturing overhead cost. Step 2. Get the budgeted total manufacturing overhead cost, which comprises fixed and variable manufacturing overhead cost. Step 3. Calculate the departmental overhead rate, which is the budgeted departmental manufacturing overhead cost divided by the budgeted allocation based. So here you need to identify what is the department's allocation base, whether it's machine hours, labor hours or others, depending on the information given to you. The final step is step 4, where you calculate the manufacturing overhead cost applied. Now, let's look at the example that we have here. So we have this company called Kenanga Company, and the company has two departments, molding and assembly. The information that we have here is for the whole company as well as the breakup for each department. And at the end of the day, we would want to calculate total cost for the job to produce product Y, as well as the cost per unit for product Y. The first step is to calculate direct material cost. The budgeted total direct material cost is Rm 1 million ringgit. Can you see the one highlighted in red? And the budgeted total direct material is 25,000 kilogram. So the direct material cost per kilogram is 1 million ringgit divided by 25,000 kilogram, you get Rm 40 per kilogram. From the information given, we know that the company uses 8,000 kilogram of direct material to produce product Y. So, the direct material cost for the product is Rm40 times 8,000 kilogram, you get Rm 320,000. The second step is to calculate direct labor cost. The budgeted total direct labor cost is Rm 100,000 ringgit and the budgeted total direct labor hours is 20,000 hours. So, the direct labor cost per hour is Rm 100,000 ringgit divided by 20,000 hours, you get Rm 5 per hour. From the information given, we know that the company uses 6,000 labor hours to produce product Y. So, the direct labor cost for product Y is Rm5 times 6,000 hours, you get Rm 30,000 ringgit. The third step is to calculate the applied manufacturing overhead cost for each molding and assembly department. First, let's calculate the budgeted variable manufacturing overhead cost for molding department. Total variable manufacturing overhead cost for molding department consists of variable cost RM1 ringgit times 38,000 hours, you get RM 38,000 ringgit. You also have the fixed manufacturing overhead cost portion, which is RM 1 million ringgit. So the total is RM 1,038,000 ringgit. The next part is to calculate the budgeted variable manufacturing overhead cost for assembly department. So, variable manufacturing cost for assembly department is RM1 ringgit times 36,000 hours, you get RM 36,000 ringgit. And fixed manufacturing overhead cost is RM 1 million ringgit. So, RM 36,000 plus RM 1 million ringgit, the total is RM 1,036,000. So that's the total for manufacturing overhead cost for assembly department. Now, we can compile the information related to manufacturing overhead cost for both molding and assembling department. First, let's look at molding department. The departmental overhead rate for molding department is RM 1,038,000 divided by 38,000 machine hours, you get RM 27 ringgit 32 cents per machine hours. We are using 38,000 machine hours as the base because the predetermined overhead rate for molding department is based on machine hours. We also know that product Y uses 5,000 machine hours. So, the manufacturing overhead cost applied is RM 27.32 times 5,000 machine hours. And you get RM 136,600 ringgit. The second part of the calculation is for assembly department. The departmental overhead rate for assembly department is RM 1,036,000, the one that we calculated just now, and we divide it with 18,000 direct labor hours. We get RM 57 ringgit and 56 cents per direct labor hour. So we are using 18,000 labor hours as the base because the predetermined overhead rate is based on labor hours. And we know that product Y uses 6,000 direct labor hours. So we multiply with 6,000, we get RM 345 ringgit 360 cents. So this is the final step. So we actually summarize all the information, direct material cost plus direct labor cost, and also two manufacturing overhead costs applied, molding and assembly. We get the total, we divide it with the number of units, we get RM 27,732 ringgit. Okay, that's all for now. Kindly continue with the next video entitled The Flow of Cost in a Job Costing System. Thank you.